Welcome to Ability MKE Now on River West Radio. And we're thrilled to be here this evening with Ability MKE Now. We are a show all about integration. We are bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together and enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We are going to be diving into topics of diverse abilities, showcasing a variety of aspects of ability-related topics. So the concept of a disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goal of substance use reduction, chemical sensitivity, you name it. There are so many different things that can fall within that broad category of disability. We here at Ability MKE Now bring topics forward that hit a wide range of these concepts and what we can do to integrate those that have some sort of disability with those who don't. So with that, my name is Sue Roskoff, and as always, we do have Kurt Roskoff here as well. Kurt, you want to pop in and give a quick hello?
Absolutely. Hello, Milwaukee, and to all of the listeners here with River West Radio and Now show. As we lay the platform that we are building upon, we dig from 6 pockets of life. So we are looking at our faith lives, our service lives, lifelong learning, our civic duties and what we do with our government, and what we do out there in vocation, occupation, with our businesses and jobs. Everything we do for fun, our pastime, hobbies, leisure activities, travel, sports, recreation. So we kind of build this off of from the Roskoff life with water skiing, and then kind of cross-train to say what we learn in, the sport of water skiing, celebrating 100 years of water skiing, thanks to Ralph Samuelson from 1922 at Lake Pepin, Lake City, Minnesota, putting on those showboards I shouldn't say showboards, just simple pieces of wood. Back then, he just strapped some wood to his feet, and away he went, and took clotheslines. So he just kind of adapted his life. He had a notion that he could do that, and that's what's happened in the realm of adaptive water skiing, and the type of adapting and adjusting and improvising, being creative, being the MacGyvers of life, to say, where there's a will, there's a way. We can include everybody if we take the time to look at how can we accommodate how what we do works best for another. And I think one way or another, that's the way life works anyway, no matter what you're trying to do with another person or other people. So this is for sure the people business. And, we want it to be that nobody is excluded, nobody left behind, nobody wondering, why community and why Milwaukee or, why anything doesn't work for them. We want universal design, global public inclusive infrastructure. We want to use assistive technology, adaptive equipment. And it just takes learning from the masters of ability. And so who are the masters of ability? Well, if you want to know how to do something better for those with an intellectual and developmental disability, who better to ask but them? If you want to learn how things work best for the deaf or hard of hearing community, who better to ask than those who are deaf or hard of hearing? So we need to communicate with our friends that are deaf or hard of hearing, or those who are blind or visually impaired. We need to get to a point at least where we ask them. Until someone in these communities is available, we can do the best we can to prepare for that opportunity. So that is what this radio show is inspired to be. Again, big thanks to Marty Hagedorn from right here, River West Radio, with the Youth Rising Up group, another longstanding tradition here, River West Radio. And he exemplified through that advocacy for inner city youth to say, hey, Kurt Roskoff, what do you think about disability advocacy radio? And you know what, folks, we've been doing this for 6 years. And I have to ask myself, and I challenge all of you to report back to Ability MK Now with where you see anywhere in the world disability advocacy radio. It for sure is a rare thing. It for sure is a challenge to find this. And that's part of our mission here with this show, is to show River West Radio as a pioneer in inclusive radio operation, and to say that radio is for everybody, and we need to come together as a global community and inspire other radio stations to follow the example we're setting here. And the Ability MK Now team is available to help anybody out there do this. But for now, River West Radio is your haven for disability advocacy radio. Back to you, Sue.
You know, when you were describing 100 years ago what it would have been like when he had figured out how to put a piece of wood strapped to his feet to be the first guy ever to actually do water ski. The only thing that went through my mind was a guy looking at his friends and saying, "Hey, watch this." and I also kind of wonder if there was a, "Hey, hold my beer" in the middle of all that too. I don't know. So that was quite the day back then. I wish I could have seen what actually happened there. With that actually inspired a lot of what we've done, right? With all of the adaptive water skiing. We, with our ski club, we're with the Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club, and we set aside the first Saturday in August every year to do adaptive water skiing. Traditionally, it's been with ACAP, which is ACAP stands for Adaptive Community Approach Program. They are a day program for adults with disabilities out of Waukesha. And Kurt's actually been on the board with them now. How long has it been now? It's been 4 years. Actually, I'm trying to think how long you've been on the board.
It's been a handful of years. It's been more in the neighborhood of 5, I believe.
Okay, sneaking up to 5 already. Time flies. So we got to have our awesome day on the water. The weather could not have been better. It was gorgeous. We had very little wind, so it was a nice calm water. We did the event from 9 until noon. So luckily, with being in the morning like that, it wasn't too hot, because I think by early afternoon we were looking at 90-ish that day. And for Wisconsin, that's pretty toasty. So we were glad to get that all in, and we had what did we end up with? We had a dozen participants. So it was a really great day. We had a lot of new people out there, people who both new with helping and new with being participants. And we heard some great feedback. One of the moms had sent a note back after the event that her son skied for the first time ever that day, and using the sit ski. And he's a guy who he's nonverbal. He does not communicate through speaking. And she said he's very tech savvy. So he does a lot of things on this computer. And she had mentioned back that ever since that experience of being on the water with us and water skiing, that he's been on YouTube searching up all sorts of water skiing videos ever since then. So that was pretty exciting. I thought that was a definite win, and he must have had a good time. We knew he had a good time. It was a lot of fun out there, and I was thrilled to hear such feedback like that. And actually, I am going to ask Kurt one more question here, because I know another fun activity that has been happening in the recent weeks here with ACAP, speaking of ACAP, is adaptive kayaking. So I know you and actually our daughter Alana have both been able to team up with some of the folks with ACAP to do some adaptive kayaking. Now, that's something I've never done, and I've not much seen it. Can you tell us more about what you all are doing when you guys are going adaptive kayaking?
Sure. While I'm doing this, I want to just make sure to provide an online reference to keep this handy as I describe this. It is ACAP, ACAP Waukesha.org, acap-waukesha.org. With that, there's a page on there with their recreational program. There's many things that the ACAP members get to enjoy, both in indoor and outdoor recreation, that are provided in the mode that our members are adults with disabilities. And so in the city of Waukesha, here in Waukesha County, along the Fox River, right at what is Frame Park, there is a nice kayak launch that was just installed in the recent years there in the city through a wonderful project by the Waukesha Park and Rec Department. And so there's a marvelous accessible kayak launch. And they also are using what's traditionally known as stand-up paddle boards, SUP boards, but we just more call them paddle boards because not all of our friends are actually going to stand up on these boards. But for launching all that stuff, a nice little pier and decking area. And then even with the paddles, with the bar of the paddles, they even have notches along the one so that if you have difficulty pushing off or scooting yourself off or figuring out a way to stay with the kayak and get out on the water, you can actually use your paddle for leverage. You just find the notches and you click it into the notch. It's just an open notch. You just rest it in there and then you pull and you can pull yourself into the water. So it's simply a kayaking opportunity where we go out there with the members. Most of the time we're always using a two-person, a kayak, because then what that does is that allows a community guide to go along with our members to help them get assured that they're going to have an enjoyable time on the water and everything's safe. And then it's more social too, better interactions. So with that, I want to come on in with our diva, D-E for Denise, V-A for Vargas, D-E-V-A, diva. And I want to see if she's able to do a check-in here with River West Radio as our co-host. And as we're talking adaptive sports and rec and so forth, diva, maybe you have some experiences to share too. Take it away, diva.
Well, hello, Milwaukee. I love saying that even though I am from New York. But I do love saying that. I love being here with you guys. And, I don't have any kayaking experience or water skiing, but I think I will be quicker to get into the kayak than on the water skis. So that might be a to-do thing in the future. Who knows? But, that sounds like fun. And fun fact, Edmund Elderberry from the Happy Neighborhood Project loves kayaking, so maybe we can take him along with us. That'd be fun.
Yes. So Denise, I want to get a little bit more insight from you though in your life and with like accessible trails in parks or even in museum spaces or anything that you've been out there doing adventuring, whether it's any cycles that you've done that are adaptive cycles, or what have you done in life that has been using adaptive sports and rec equipment, or just otherwise you've appreciated with your power wheelchair that things have just worked for you to go out there and participate in entertainment, leisure, travel. Tell us a little bit about this from your life.
So actually, speaking of sports, I'm not a huge sports fan. But a couple of years ago, I actually participated a little bit in demo exercise, which is a lot of fun, for power chair soccer. So it was they strapped this kind of like a bar in front of you, and you play with like a bigger soccer ball than the average. But it's a lot of fun, and it's just like moving, trying to get the ball to maneuver in the direction that you want. It's really challenging. So at first I thought it was cool watching it and didn't think it was going to be that difficult until now. I'm like, okay, well now how do I do that? And I'm actually a pretty good, like when I maneuver my chair, I can turn in a teeny tiny little spot. So I'm pretty good at maneuvering my chair. But when I had to move this ball, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, not so easy. as I thought, but it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that was fun. And as far as accessibility, um, I wish that we were a little bit more accessible. We are getting there. We are definitely getting there. But there is still more work to be done. But what I want to just go back for a moment when you were saying that if you want to know something from X community, whether it's from the visually challenged or the mobility challenge or whatever community it is, ask them directly, right? Because as much as we love our able-bodied friends that are there for us, they're helping us, they're rallying with us, no one's going to know more than the person that is living it. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, and with one of the local groups here, that Damian Bookman actually has for quite a few